just how true it is and how I wish we had the depth of that feeling, not just the words, but the depth of that feeling all of the time. That the desire within our hearts, within our minds, within our soul, within our surrounding, the recognition is that we want you. Amen. That we have a hunger for God. That we need God. That actually at the very depth and core of our need to exist, we need God. I think that we could bring along that other line. We live to glorify. Amen? And think about when we got up in the morning. We live to glorify. Amen. Thought about when we went about our day. We live to glorify our God. When we went to bed at night, if we were living to glorify our God. Amen? Amen. Praise the Lord. All right. I'm going to read the scripture that I'm going to preach from in a second, but I want to remind me and us of something that a mentor of mine was famous for saying all of the time. And you'll know why I said it when I read scripture. He used to say, if we could get our thinking right, we get our believing right. If we could get our believing right, we could get our acting right. Say it one more time, because I know it's not a difficult statement, but I want you to think about what it means. If we could get our thinking right, we could get our believing right. If we could get our believing right, we could get our acting right. Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. So many of you are aware that I've been preaching from the book of Philippians all month, and the book of Philippians talks about just experiencing the joy of God all of the time. We don't need any history with God. Once we come to God, we can experience the abundance of His joy. We don't need a perfect record. We don't need everybody to act right. We can experience the abundance of God's joy all by ourselves if we can get our thinking right, if we can get our believing right, and if we can get our acting right. We can have the abundance of God's joy. I want to just talk about from that passage, my whatever things. Just want to talk about my whatever things. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. The Lord wants us to know that we have a choice about what we allow in our minds. We have a choice about what we allow in our thoughts. I'm not saying it's easy to make the choice, because if it was easy, if everybody else would say, everybody would be doing it. Everyone would dismiss all of the toxins begging for our attention, all of the toxins begging to occupy our thoughts. But God implores us, filter the toxins out of our life, out of our thought processes, and filter in God magnifying, life renewing, creativity inspiring, regenerative efforts to ponder on. And so rather than trying to explain that, I thought what I'd do is I'd capture some of my whatever things that I experienced on yesterday that I choose to ponder on. And so some of you are here that I'm going to mention you. I didn't get permission. If you want to charge me a fee later, do that. I can't promise you I'm going to pay you. Yesterday morning, one of the whatever things that I choose to think about. Byron Blaine, out of seemingly nowhere, volunteered to continue our conference call prayer line. Most of you know that in September we agreed to pray for 30 days in the morning at 7 o'clock. And after that 30 days, Deidre and I just kind of left it open for someone to pick up and continue if you wanted to continue it. We weren't even talking about this thought. And then out of nowhere, he stepped up, I think ushered in by the fresh wind of ministry partnership. He said to me that yesterday morning that I think what he said in saying that the prayer time we spent together was so sacred that it made him, that asked him to be responsible to keep it going. Amen. Amen. That was encouraging to me. Something else in that line, I don't think Sarah's back there today, but Sarah White, Sarah reminded me when I saw her yesterday at another event, I'm going to mention the other person's name in a minute, she reminded me when she saw me at that event that my sermon prompted a response in her, and that reminder lifted my spirit because it said that Sarah was listening to the sermon, but not just listening to me and the sermon. It said to me that it reminded me that she was listening also to herself, the giftedness that she possessed, and the giftedness that pressed and flows through her and out of her into the world, but not just to both of us, her and me, but that she was also listening to God and the healing and restorative presence of God who wants to find new ways to work in and through her and through all of us. That was gratifying. And I wasn't even looking, I had my back turned. She came up and she put her hand on the back of my shoulder and she said, you know what I was really thinking about? I'm a gifted singer. And when you said that about needing people to step up in the way that they can be used by God, that's really what prompted in my spirit. That is so gratifying when somebody responds to that way with the gifts that God has put in them and willingly offer them. Y'all don't know how gratifying that is to me. But when people do more than say, oh, good sermon, when they do more than say, oh, that was fantastic, I like, but when they actually step up and say, you know what, I heard something that prompts me to do something about what you said. That is extremely gratifying. There's a purity about, I think, what happened in the two of them, about both of their willingness to serve God. That inspires me to think about, in this text, whatever is pure, free of bias, free of expectations, that is just purely offered in service and joy and willingness. There's something about that captures me. Stuff that has a little look to it. I have to wonder about it. But when it's pure, it lifts my spirit. Amen. That's one of the things that I choose to think about. And God loved my brother. He just likes to make things simple. So yesterday, he came up to me and said, we've been studying Philippians. And God, through the Philippians, tells us to live a life of joy. Here's what I think Deacon Clark Adams was saying to me. We should just do what God tells us to do. That's right. No adages, no fluffing it up and all that. We should just do what God tells us to do. I can have encouraging partners in the ministry. What it says, and I can have encouraging partners in the ministry when I do what God tells me to do. I have encouragement in social justice when I do what God tells me to do. When Clark came up to me, when he offered that simple phrase and encouragement, I think he was doing what was noble.
That's right.
Not everybody was doing it. But I think he was doing what was noble. It says to me that I really have been directing people to God. That he really does have my back. What a noble thing to have your fellow brothers and sisters back and to give them a word of encouragement out of nowhere, just because you know that that's who you are. That's what you're called here to do. That's two. Deacon Lador and I went to visit someone yesterday. It wasn't on my list of things to do. Y'all ever get stuff thrown in your way that just ain't on your list of things to do? It was nowhere on my agenda, nowhere on my calendar, but I saw her just sitting down, and I did the dumbest thing in the world. I said, okay, what's going on? What's wrong with you? And she responded back and told me what was going on. She was waiting on somebody to come pick her up. I said, where are you waiting on somebody? I got a car. So we drove to visit somebody that we hadn't visited for a while. We've been ill. When we arrived, I think we were made, I know we were made, I don't think we were made. We were made to feel at home. This is my first time at the home. Deacon Lador had been there before, but I'd never been to the home. I was immediately made to feel at home. We were immediately made to feel at home. Upon entering the house, I was greeted with an unusual warmth, made to feel like I belonged and repeatedly invited to make myself at home. I am thankful that I took the detour because I see where God was at work on me in that detour. God met my anxiety with assurance. He let me see strength in the face of uncertainty, sickness, and pain. God showed me dignity on my detour. What I saw was admirable. You ever see people who are struggling and who are ill, and you know that they're in pain, and you know that they don't even know whether the medication is going to work? You ever see people like that? Well, there's some rare people that you see like that, that in spite of what they're facing, they're able to show you their impeccable trust and strength even in that. That came through so clearly. When you can see someone whose back is against the wall and they can still stand on principles that are important to them and they can be confident in those principles, that does something to me. We don't have anything to risk. I'm sorry, but that doesn't really impress me a lot. But when you're risking everything and you're still standing on your principles, that's courage. Two more things I want to talk about. One of them that made it through my filter about what to think about it. I'll mention both, but I want to talk about it. Praise team, you gave me good thoughts yesterday. Amen. All right. So I'm not going to talk about y'all. Last Sunday, Chris invited me to his open house. I don't know if I can call it a business or not. I can call it a business. The open house of his business. His open house, after dreaming of a venture that I can only describe as phenomenal and co-creative. I saw lots of beautiful young black people complimentary towards each other, celebrating, affirming, faithful, visionary. When I showed up. When I see that you never gave up. I don't know everything, but I heard a few things. And when I see that you never gave up, that's such a moment of trust and creativity and discovery that I see in what you were able to do. Amen. How you worked up to the minute. How you celebrated who worked with you and shared the opening as an accomplishment of mutuality. You made me think about the church and what the church is supposed to do. You talked about all of the things you needed to pull off your launch. Photojournalist, web designer, caterer. I know I'm not going to mention everything because I'm not you. Caterer, and how you approach your launch in a web of mutuality. You saw how God brought you together to enhance each other's gifts, share them with others who needed what you had to offer, and build wealth. I can add that last one in again. And build wealth. Chris, you also talked about how the atmosphere of what you were co-creating will give the artists who come there to share and work to give them what they need as well. Somebody said, I'm sure you heard this because I heard this. Somebody shared that you don't know what you're starting. They said that. And they were saying in an extremely positive and complimentary way. So what I will concede is you just might know what you started. just might know where what you started is going. This is what I believe about God and creating and using people, and when they take that, especially people who take extreme risks that's never been charted before. I don't think what you're doing has been charted before. What you're doing has been charted. I think God also gives them a vision of what it's going to be. And I think we minimize that ability to have that foresight. And you actually seeing before it is manifested in the physical world. You know, we human beings are crazy folks. We think you got to physically see everything before you can actually know what you're seeing. I'm willing to concede that you might see far more than I'm willing to give you credit. It was such an inspiring place, an atmosphere, an environment to be in. Because we got all kind of crazy things to say about how young people ain't doing anything. How all of y'all are thugs and you listen to this, that, and this. Come on. We like to have that narrative, don't we? Don't we love that narrative? I saw a whole bunch of young black folks in one place together. They weren't fighting. They wasn't talking about nobody. I didn't hear a negative comment. Everything I saw was beautiful and on the cutting edge and co-creative. And they actually existed in a complementary, affirmative place and space together. That does me good. Good. Amen. I have to mention Nancy too, because I didn't know Nancy's name before I saw her before. I have to mention Nancy too. She immediately met me, connected me when we were there. She had this wonderful thing that she wanted to show me as this, I'm not going to get this right either, as this photojournalist who takes pictures of movements, you know, does documentaries about movements and stuff. And that was just really intriguing to hear that somebody was actually doing that work and was actually passionate about that work. And such young people. Yes. Yes. That's my list of things that I choose to think about. Whatever is right, is pure, is noble, is active. Those are my whatever things. I find that when I give energy and thought and openness to those kinds of whatever things, all of that other stuff just, I mean, it doesn't bother me because I don't give it time. I don't allow it to occupy my space and my being. I focus on whatever is excellent and praiseworthy. That stuff is not praiseworthy. That, what I just mentioned, that is extremely praiseworthy and puts me in a space where I can look forward to enjoying life. That's right. What are your praiseworthy? What are your whatever things? I know a lot of stuff that's in the media begs our attention, doesn't it? I mean, it's not on every channel. It's not on every channel, but every time I walk into a room, thank God it wasn't in that room, but every time I walk into a room, somebody got to mention the stuff that's on every channel. I'm sick of hearing all of the stuff that are toxins in my spirit. I choose to focus on the things that are simple. That actually lift my spirit, gives me encouragement, let me know that hope is not gone, nor is it lost, but it is very, very much alive in those who are pursuing life. Yes. That's right. Amen. It gives me hope. I know what some of y'all ask, but if you don't think about the stuff, no, won't it just come up and get you? I need to filter it out. I do. Because when I don't filter it out, I think that that's all there is to existence. It overwhelms me. It overwhelms my conversation. It bends my mind and my thinking to thinking about I'm just on a path of destruction and failure. But when I think about those life-giving things, you know what I think about? I think about the creativity that is at the very genesis of everything that happens when I get up in the morning. I start thinking about all of the wonderful things that are going to happen when I think about whatever is pure and right and noble and good and enriching. You know, I was thinking a little negative about my son a couple of weeks ago because he's just been joyful about his new place of work. And I just reminded myself, why in the world am I that way? Because I believe in a God who can start good and also finish good.
That's right. That's right.
Meet you in the middle and still good. Amen. Face a problem and turn it into a triumph. Amen. Praise God. See you in a moment of challenge and move the challenge out of the way. See you in a moment of need and provide the need. There's always opportunity in God, and when we open our minds to the whatever things. What's yours? Y'all got a list? It actually didn't take me a lot of time. I didn't start out my day thinking about whatever the Spirit knows. I started out my day thinking about some other stuff. And then I just stopped. Is there anything good happening around me? This is not last week. This is yesterday. One day, I came up with that and more. So serious question, but you don't have to tell me. But what's your whatever list? What are the things that happened to you yesterday that inspired you to your better self? That lets you know that God is alive, not just around you, but in you and through you. That God has not forgotten about that there are people who need to be inspired, and you are inspiring. What are your whatever things to let you know that you're still alive, that you have purpose in you? What are your whatever things? So, when I finish, you can charge me, Chris, if you choose to. What I thought about is I need new rules. You know why I need new rules? Because my old rules give me a whole bunch of trouble. Tell me about all the stuff that I can't do, ain't gonna do, won't do. I mean, y'all might not have them kind of old rules. I do. What is not possible, that's what my old rules tell me. I need new rules. It takes a lot of courage to get some new rules. Sometimes people are not going to understand your new rules. They're going to want to come up and offer to you that you're crazy for trying to invent something that has never been in existence. Because that is completely impossible. You have people like that, but you know what? You can cut them off and you can send them out the door. Hello? One of my new rules. It is one of my new rules. Is that I need to cut off all of the stuff that tells me why I can't do what my soul and my spirit is begging me. I need to cut it off. If I can get my thinking right, I can get my believing right. If I can get my believing right, I can get my acting right. Amen. You notice how money didn't come up in that little line? Or right people didn't come up in that line. You know how none of that, you know how erasing my history didn't come up in that line? If I can get just my thinking, if I can get that right, can you get your thinking right? I know stuff that people have told you, but focus on the stuff that's good, that makes you, live and reach towards your better self, something that you think was impossible for you. Somebody just told you something that overwhelmed you about you. Not about them, but about you. Think on that. They saw something about the power of who you are and of your creativity. Think about that. They They told you about what they saw you doing and how you inspired other people and how you're going to open the door for them in a way that they never imagined. Think about that. I got some news. So here's the fair one. So I know some of y'all going to come up to me today and you're going to tell me some stuff that I don't want to hear. It's not really a stretch. It happens all the time. So here's my fair warning to you. I hear you because I can't help but hear you. I'm not going to think about it. Today, anyway, I'm just starting one day. I'm going to take my filter. And I'm going to filter it out. Some of you are going to tell me some amazing things that I cannot believe that I'm going to filter in. And then I'm going to take a line from, I'm going to go back to my son, from my son. But we was talking about something, and the something that we was talking about had everything to do with him. And he said it was going to go to his head. And I said, don't let that happen. And he said, well, you know it already happened. So my line that I'm going to take from him, it's going to go to my head. And you know what? It's going to be all right. I'm going to enjoy it, feeling the atmosphere of my head and making me feel good and more important than you think I ought to feel. But you know what? I'm going to feel that way anyway. And I'm not going to apologize to you for feeling that way anyway. A lot of us could do a lot better by doing that. We have way too much false humility. Somebody tells you great, that makes you step up to being great. Step